can do it. So hello and welcome to this stream. I had to just let you know about this one. It is super special. And I wanted to make sure that everyone who would like the opportunity has the opportunity, because these are very, very limited. So let's get down to business. So I did a session with a client this week. She was the absolute first person to go through it. She's a CEO, runs an organization very successfully, and I took her through the process. I'm going to show you her feedback because it is absolutely incredible. So let me just kind of pull this one up and I'm going to read it to you because it may not be clear on the screen. So I'm just going to tell you what it says. So she says, I wish I had done this 6 to 8 months ago. And this was a brand positioning, brand strategy session. So she said, I wish I'd done this 6 to 8 months ago. We paid a brand consultant she said it was either £4,000 or £5,000. She couldn't remember which one of the two. I've just said 4,000. So she said, we paid a brand consultant £4,000 to do this. And what you've just guided me through is so comprehensive. It feels as though it's pulling information from various sources, is trained in marketing speak, and that combined with your expertise, Marilyn, is surprisingly good. It's impressive. And for my clients who are on my e-newsletter list and got in there early, because when you're on the e-newsletter list, you get advanced notification, you get additional 10% saving, at least, sometimes a bit more. Rather than paying £4,000, this particular client paid £60. That's 60. So 50 plus 10 versus at least £4,000, maybe 5,000. So her feedback was just incredible. And she said, in many respects, this, what I prepared for her, and we did this online. She said, what I prepared for her in less than 2 hours. Now, the brand consultant that she had paid previously, don't get me wrong, she said she really was, good report, etc. They were there for a week with her business, interviewing people, etc., etc. And she said, what I had prepared was even more targeted in many of the areas, more spot on and more representative of who they are in their company. And it was even had their voice. So I'm going to say that £60 compared to £4,000 is super duper impressive. Another client who's signed up is very interesting. Now, this particular client is in the technology field, but I did a coaching session with one of the therapists that is a client. And what she said was really fast. Actually, let me see if I can find it. Hold on. Both of them, of course, are giving me permission. Now, this client wants to remain anonymous. Because she said something that really hit the nail on the head. Let's see if I can find it in all my notes. Yes, okay. So now this particular client hasn't done it yet, but I was talking her through what's included, and I'll give you an overview of what's included in a few moments as well. So she says, where is it? So you offer your client base something that can make them shine in their world, because she's talking about therapists, healers, etc. She said, because I'm having to read shorthand as well. We don't know how to. We have all the therapy skills in the world, but we're not really there. It's not about just the therapy skills. You have to know how to use them. So do we really know actually how to use them all and how to market? No. And then she was saying, so this is going to be helping businesses help them shine, help them get clear, know what they stand for. Because one of the things she also said, and I agree, is that when you're in coaching, therapy, healing, etc., you're about the work, you're doing the work, you want to be out there with clients. However, the marketing side, the strategy side, the brand positioning side, your business archetypes, your SEO, all of that stuff isn't necessarily your wheelhouse. And why should it be? Because that's not why you wanted to do what you do. You wanted actually to be in a position just to bring these skills to people. However, in the world that we're living in today, particularly with the advent of AI, where people can create really good work in a matter of minutes, it's now more important than ever that people find a way to differentiate themselves and really get clear. Who are you? Who is your client? What are you about? And how do you reach them? So let me just show you a bit of so I did a quick sort of overview summary. That one will show you. So I did a quick overview summary of some of the well, all of the things that are included in this particular report. So the report itself runs to 50, but I'm going to say between 52 and 54 pages. It depends how many competitor analysis we do, but you can do up to 5 of those. So if you only do 2 or 3 competitor analysis, your report's going to be 45 pages. But let's just say it's about 52 pages on average. So these are the sections that it covers. I will actually, rather than you looking up me news, no, actually, I can see him. I can see him. It's all right. It's like when you get too close to the camera, like people are looking up your nostrils. But anyway, so these are the sections that are included. So you got your brand identity, your brand narrative, who are you as a brand, etc. You've got your SWOT analysis, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So the SWOT analysis is for your business. It is also for 3 of your competitors. That in itself makes fascinating reading because it's telling you then where your competitors are weak, and on the flip side, what you can do to capitalize on some of that if you choose to. You've got the landing page analysis. So it's going to take your website and it's going to, for the client who I did this for, the one who paid £4,000 versus paying me £60, um, because it was a fairly new website, it was a little bit blunt and she just laughed. She went, yeah, it's not mincing its words. But if you've got, it will do an analysis of whatever website you give it. There's the lighthouse thing where it's looking at the speed and the kind of workings of your websites if you're into those sort of stats, which are important. How responsive your site is, that's really fascinating in and of itself. It's going to write some marketing copy for you. And again, the client that it was writing copy for, she knows her stuff inside out. She's got, I think it's she's got a master's, MBA, and all the sorts of stuff. I believe she's doing another doctorate and all the rest of it. She knows her stuff inside out. And she was like, yeah, spot on. So it does marketing copy, gives you marketing campaign ideas, because it's all very well having all this data. If you don't know what to do with it, it's pretty useless. So you can actually walk away, take this report, bang, put it into action straight away. It also, this is one of the bits I love, because I've been an archetypal branding and archetypal profiling consultant since 2005. So 20 years if you're watching this in real time, and longer if you're watching this in the future. This one does brand archetypes. So I took myself through the process first. And of the 5 archetypes that it came up with for me, 4 of them are the archetypal profiles that I came up with when I did the archetypal profile, which is like filling in a psychometric. If you've done an MBTI, Myers-Briggs type indicator, it's exactly the same kind of well, not in this case, but the way I do it, it's a psychometric assessment almost. So of the 5 archetypes that this report pulled up based on all the data we'd given it, 4 of them were my archetypes, and the 5th one that it chose is one that I definitely resonate with, just not as strongly as the primary and secondary archetypes, but it was spot on with the archetypes and it was spot on with my client. And there's one more that she added as well. But it then talks about your brand archetype and how can you utilize that information, which is fascinating. Then it's about your visual identity. So what it's doing here, if you've got particular colors on your site, or it's looking at who you're inspired by, it will give you the fonts, the Pantone colors, all of those types of things. And I have to say, if you're like me, my website was set up in very early 2001. So basically 20, nearly 25 years ago now. Do you all remember your Pantone colors? Because there have been times I've been on other platforms creating images and it doesn't tell you, can click on a color, but it always gives you the option to put in a Pantone color. Can I remember that Pantone color? No. So in the report, it's like, yes, I've got it written down now. So that can be really, really fascinating. It also, which again is really, really just mind blowing, is the competitor analysis. So it's going to go through and it's going to pull all that data about your competitors, which was amazing. The SEO keywords, very important for those of you who are doing the SEO thing, which technically we all really should be. Do we? Probably not. I'm talking to people like myself, coaches, therapists, healers, consultants, authors, etc. So there's that information for you. Generated ICPs. And oh my God, seriously, it is just fascinating. And that's your ideal customer profile. So what it's going to do, it's going to take all your brand voice, your archetypes, your website, the competitor analysis. Is going to crunch all of that data. There's also a section about your inspiration, who inspires you. And there can be people outside of your industry. It takes all of that data and then it comes up with the ideal customer profile. Now, where that is really useful, if you are just kind of, spraying stuff against, or like throwing spaghetti at a wall and seeing what sticks with your marketing, or doing that scattergun approach, it used to work as a strategy before, not so much now. And I say now, God, for the last 10, 15 years, that's not been a good strategy, but many people are still using it. I've done it myself as well. So this one is like, okay, who is your ideal customer? Because when you know what your ICP is, you can speak in their language, and you can be much clearer, much more targeted about where you go to find them. And then you've got content strategy. So as I said, it's all very well having information and data. And really think about it. Technology. We have had technology at our fingertips for at least 15 years. And in terms of when I'm talking about real fast tech, that hasn't made people more efficient, hasn't necessarily made people more intelligent, because it's very easy to get into data overload, which of course is what the photo reading, accelerated learning, read at 25,000 words per minute, get through whole books in 5 minutes is about. But that aside, if you haven't got those kinds of skills, having loads of data coming at you is not always helpful, because yes, you can ask ChatGPT or Claude or Grok or whatever your language model is of choice. It's going to give you a ton of data. You still got to be able to do something with it. So the lovely thing about this, it gives you a content strategy. It says, right, with all of this information, with all of this data, here is a strategy that you can follow step by step and put all of this into practice. And then there's the kind of the final little sort of, bit of info about, me, who I am, what I do. But that basically, the report is super duper comprehensive. It's just like beyond. Now, if you just want to have a look at the overview, I'm going to add the testimonials as I get them. So the thing you can see on the red banner, transformationstm.exposure.co/visibility-success-blueprint. That's where you'll see all of the data that I've put there. There's a video where I take you through what's actually in the report, so you can see the pages of the report for yourself. And if you are watching this kind of in real time and you're like, I think I need one of those £4,000 reports. They're not £60 now. That was the early booking price plus the discount for people on my e-newsletter list. But it's still a fantastic price. It's still less than £100. No, I shouldn't say the price, because the price is going to be changing very, very soon. And I mean in the next few hours. So scratch what I said about price. Just know that it's nowhere near to 4,000, which is what my client paid for something that delivered just as much. But if you go to the page that is coming along the bottom of the ticker tape, that will take you to the page. Now, if you hit the page and it's got a big white screen with some writing on it, that means I've closed the page down. My suggestion is just save the URL. And when I reopen it, because I'm going to do probably between 3 and 5 of these a month, because it's, yes, I did a business degree. I did a postgraduate marketing diploma with the Chartered Institute of Marketing. As I said, I did the archetypal profiling and the archetypal branding, the full practitioner training back in 2005. I love the archetypes. So this is, technically speaking, one could say it's my wheelhouse. I have been a management consultant since 2003, specializing in central and local government leadership development training, doing the away days, mediation work, executive coaching, of course, management consultancy, implementing programs, going into organizations and all of that sort of stuff. So back in the day in 2003, for example, we did a massive multi-million pound installation for remote working, smart working and flexible working in central government. So this is my wheelhouse, but as you know, my focus mainly on my day-to-day stuff is coaching, therapy, trade, all that sort of stuff. So yes, this is, technically speaking, this is my wheelhouse. However, it's not the thing that I'm going to be doing all the time. So then looking at it, I'm like, yeah, I could do 2 or 3 of these a month, maybe 4 or 5, depending on how the month pans out. So if you get to the page and it's closed down, save the URL. Or what I might do is leave the bookings up, but I'll then make it clear which month you are booking for. So let's just say if you're watching this a few days from now, there won't be any more sessions available for this month, but I might say, January, book here if you want to book for January. I'm going to think about it. So I'll either close the page down or you'll know that you're booking for the future. Anyway, so the one that's coming along the ticker tape, if you wanted to book one of these sessions, I do them online via Zoom. I'm going to say it takes about an hour, maximum hour and 15, 20 minutes, but I'm going to be aiming for an hour. So the URL you can go to is marilyndevonish.thrivecart.com/visibility success blueprint. And Marilyn is Marilyn, surname DEV for Victor, ONISH. So if you click on that, the Thrivecart link, it will take you to the booking page. If there is still, and also what I've done with regards to, because some of them you'll go and you'll see they're there, but you can't click on them. That's because that price point is over. Or there are no more of those because I've done it in batches of 5. So at the time I'm doing this video, I think there are 3 or 4 places left. And then that's it. I'm not doing any more for this month. So as I said, if the page is gone, save the benchmark. If the page is there, you may be booking in advance. You'll figure it out. And I'll leave a little note if the page has been taken down saying, save this page and come back later. But yeah, that's it. But it was absolutely, seriously, just mind blowing, I think. Just very, very impressive. And yeah, the way I kind of described it when I put it out to my list, because I only launched it this week, a couple of days ago. It feels like ages ago, but it was like 5 days ago, I think. The way I've described it to my list, it's like a brand positioning and marketing strategy package in a box. And out of that box comes your report. The cover is for promotional purposes only, although I might see if I can make the cover look like that because I kind of like it. But in a nutshell, it's your branding and marketing insights. It's your brand acceleration blueprint report. It includes a private one-to-one consultancy session because I'm taking you through a series of questions as we do this. There's, as I said, the corporate brand archetype. Who is your archetype? What's your business archetype identity? There's the action plan. And you also, on top of all of that, get the SEO, the marketing, the creative insights, etc. So I would say that is pretty cool for the price, considering that, as I said, my client paid £4,000 and this one was just as comprehensive and really speaking in her brand voice. So if you want to get your hands on it, act now. This is not one of those pretend scarcity things because this involves my time. We are together on the Zoom call. And then once the call is over, I'm taking all that data, feeding it in. So it's a blend of tech. Now, with regards to the AI, it is not a chat GPT wrapper, as my client has already said. Because she works in the tech space, she is a pioneer in the field of AI. She knows this stuff inside out, and she knows a crop when she sees one, and she'll tell you to your face. She doesn't mess about. She's a little bit like me. That's probably why she's my client. So she knows this stuff, and she immediately knew this wasn't a chat GPT wrapper because it is pulling from about 20 different sources. Plus it's pulling from your website, plus it's pulling from the inspiration sites, plus it's pulling from your competitor sites. And where the AI bit is where it's actually crunching all of that data. Because even just to do a SWOT analysis for myself or for a competitor, if you've ever had to sit and do a proper SWOT analysis, that can take you hours. This report can do it, and just to do one, this report is going to do a up to 6 SWOT analysis in about an hour. It's amazing. So this is the kind of smart side use of technology that I am excited about. Of course, AI has a dark side, as most things do, and it really, a bit like a hammer. Because when I first became a hypnotherapist in October 2000, people go, "Ooh, hypnosis, NLP, ooh, it's manipulation." I'm like, dude, it's like a hammer. You can use a hammer to build a home for a family, or you can use a hammer to bop someone on the head. It's not about the hammer, it's an inanimate object. It's how we're using it. And we are using this particular piece of tech and driving something spectacular. So if you want to get your hands on one of the reports, if you're watching this on YouTube, I'll cycle back to YouTube and I'll put the link in the description. Probably do the same on Facebook. If this is, I think this is also streaming to LinkedIn, or if I've uploaded it as a video to LinkedIn, I'll also put the link in the comments if I'm on LinkedIn or Facebook with regards to this. But yeah, I just had to come and let you know about this one before it disappears, because as I said, I'm going to do between 3 to 5 of these per month, depending on what else. And some months I won't do any because my schedule won't allow it, but where I can, I'm aiming to do 3 to 5. And in terms of who this is for, one of the things I would definitely say, if you are, everything from solopreneurs to, you might have 3, 4, 500 members of staff and everything in between. The client that I worked with this week had, I think there are 7 or 8 of them. Plus, of course, they work with outside partners. And the person I'm doing next is a solopreneur. So she's a therapist and a healer. It's really not business dependent. The question is, do you want deeper, greater real-time insights about your business, about your competitors, about your ideal client, about the environment of the marketplace? If the answer to that is yes, then you might be a coach, you might be a therapist, you might be a consultant, you might be a healer, you might be a marketer, you might even be an accountant, a lawyer, whatever it is. If you are in the business where you have to connect with clients and ideally satisfy what they are booking you for and surprise and delight them for the clients that you've got, or be able to actually reach clients and find them in the first place, because that's the important part, I would say this is most definitely for you. So yeah, check it out. I would love to work with you, time permitting. And yeah, for those of you who are coming in later, then that what you see on the screen is a quote from my client who paid a brand positioning consultant at least £4,000. She said it was either 4,000 or 5,000. She paid me £60, 60, for doing this particular process. She said, Marilyn, this is just as in depth, and it's a much closer fit to our brand voice. So I'm going to say that's really impressive. So I just wanted to give you the opportunity to grab one of those if they are still available. Right, I shall leave it there. And if you're kind of watching this, go, well, actually, I haven't got a business. You might be employed, so it's not your job to do the marketing and sort that stuff out. And quite frankly, if you are in a position where you have to input into that, oh my God, you would be like genius mode, be able to have this report. And when they're talking about certain things, you just go to the relevant page and say, well, actually, one of the things I've been thinking about is, that could be very cool as well. But if you're watching this, you're like, oh, it's not really for me. However, you know someone who does have a business and could benefit with having this kind of data and information without spending days, weeks, months, and spending £4,000 or £5,000 or $6,000-7,000 on it, then please feel free to share this video with them, send them the link. That would be amazing. Right, well, wishing you fabulous rest of your morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you happen to be in the world. I shall leave it there. Marilyn Devonish, the Neuro Success Coach, Rapid Transformation Specialist and Futurist. And if you don't remember any of the other URLs, I've also added this to my main website, which is transformationstm.com. That's TRANCE. F for Freddie, so FORMATIONS, TM as in trademark, so transformationstm.com. As you can see, sort of in the corner there, it's a little bit faded maybe on your device. And then when you land on transformationstm.com, click the red Watch New button, which is normally kind of top right. And what will happen is, hi, Fantastic Radio. Oh, seriously, Fantastic Radio UK. I went to speak at one of their events and did an interview many years ago, and since that time they have been solid, and I mean solid, supporters. Posts that I don't even remember I've written, I'll get a thing saying someone has liked your post or someone has shared your post, either on Facebook or Twitter, X. And it's always Fantastic Radio. So if you haven't checked them out, fantasticradio.co.uk, please do so. A real fantastic mix genre of music. They are amazing. The people behind it are amazing. And as I said, when you have that saying, somebody's got your back, Fantastic Radio fit into this category. And probably, I don't even know if it's the same person that I met all those years ago when I went to do that talk, or it could just be someone else who is behind the scenes of this. But whoever you are, Fantastic Radio, Thank you so much for the support over the years. I really, really appreciate you. And yeah, keep up the fantastic work because I love what you do also as well. So thank you, thank you, thank you. But yes, I shall leave it there. So, oh no, you are most well. You're going to see. Sorry, you're going to see what I'm reading in a few seconds because it's going to pop up on the screen. But no, you are most welcome. You're more than welcome because you have all been absolutely amazing. So yeah, thank you. Fab. And when you go to transformationstm.com, click the red What's New button, normally top right, a panel will slide out, have a little bit of a scroll. If you're scrolling today, it's right at the top. And what I'll probably do is add one of the images that you've seen today so you recognize it as well. But click on that underneath the picture or the video. There'll be a link where you can click through. But yeah, if it sounds like you, I would absolutely love to work with you. And thank you again, Fantastic Radio, and wishing you fantastic rest of your morning, afternoon, or evening. Marilyn Devonish, over and out. Catch you later and maybe work with some of you on your branding and your positioning. Until next time.